What's up, everybody? Welcome to Vater.com. My name is James Murphy from PeaceandDrums.com, and for this lesson, we're going to be breaking down my concept called groove coloring. So this whole idea came up because I was playing grooves with my band, which is a little bit more like instrumental groove music, but you could also apply this to, you know, if you're playing for an artist in an R&B environment and you wanted just to add something little, like not a lick, not a chop that's going to draw a lot of attention, or cue the band to go to, say, the B section or the chorus, you know, but just something that adds a little bit of tension, like an embellishment to the groove. So it's not something that's going to take you out of the pocket or disrupt the rhythm section. It's just a little coloring, you know, it's just something little that you can color the groove with. So in this lesson, we're going to go to the whiteboard. I'll break it down. This is a really cool idea because we're going to be using multiple note rates, which creates this cool push and pull effect. So I feel like it kind of adds to the groove because it's a nice little effect because we're going to be using 30-second notes and triplets. So we'll break all that down on the whiteboard, and then we'll get back to the drum set and we'll break the idea down with 2 simple steps. So we'll get playing really quick, guys. So it's just something, you know, just something easy you can work on and get back to the kit quickly. All right, so let's go to the whiteboard and let's break down all the notation. Check it out. All right, guys, so now that you have a view of our whiteboard, you'll notice I already have a bunch of notation written up on our staff. Remember, the staff are these 5 lines and 4 spaces you see here, and the first part of the notation I want to point out are these 3 slashes that are falling on beats numbers 1, 2, and 3. The slashes represent where I was playing my groove. And also, this 8th note rest that's falling on 4, beat number 4, I'm grooving right up until I hit that rest. So I don't want you guys to think that there's a rest on 4. That was a rest in my groove. I'm actually grooving through beats numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. But then when I hit the and of 4, I'm going to play these 4 30-second notes. So remember, we know that they're 30-second notes by these 3 slashes and the fact that there's 4 of them happening on the and of 4. Here is the sticking pattern for these 4 30-second notes, foot, foot, right, left. And then on the following bar, so this is our bar line, this is beat number 1, we have our bass drum, which is a double dotted 8th note, which is falling on beat number 1. You have a 8th note triplet rest, so only the first 8th note triplet of beat number 1 is a rest, followed by the 2 8th note triplets are being played on the hi-hat, so that's 1 and then you've got this 30-second note that's happening on the very last 30-second note of beat number 1, so creating a really cool like flam effect between the second half of in beat number 1 and the downbeat of 2. So that's what the double dot on the 8th note does, is it pushes this note to the very last 30-second note. So guys, I mean, having 30-second notes, 8th note triplets, and 30-second notes all within 2 beats gives this color a really cool push and pull effect, which is what we're trying to create when we do these types of, you know, little things here and there in our groove. It's just to create a little bit of excitement and then get back to the groove, and that's exactly what we do on beat number 2. We get right back to our standard 8th note groove that starts on 2 and then continues on and. So just so you guys know, this right-left is pertaining to these 2 notes that are happening on your hi-hat. Obviously, the feet here would be played by your foot, so that's why I left those out. And then you have a stacked sticking here, your right on your hi-hat and the left on the snare drum. So all of those, you know, note rates and all of the way that we place them in the groove on the voices creates a really cool effect. And remember, if you go from and 1 and 2 and, the fact that we are playing like that, using all those note rates, is going to create a lot of tension, but then it's going to release when you get to 2, which is really what we're after. All right, guys, so there is our sticking pattern for this color that we're going to add to our groove. And let's head back to the drum set, and we're going to develop the sticking pattern using 2 simple steps. All right. Let's check it out. All right, guys, so now that you have a better understanding of the notation from the whiteboard, let's take that notation back to the kit and translate it using 2 steps. So for step number 1, you're going to set your metronome to 60 BPM. Remember, it's good to try to get to the metronome as soon as you can, because if you are practicing with the metronome, there won't be any discrepancy with the speed of the note rates that we've chosen for this idea. So with the metronome playing, you can police the speeds more easily than if you were playing it in free time. If you guys want to develop the sticking pattern as far as memorizing it, do it free time and then get to the metronome as soon as you can. As far as dynamics and voice patterns, you're going to be using the correct voice pattern. So the parts of the kit, you're going to use those voice patterns we talked about on the whiteboard. So get those voice patterns happening. As far as the dynamics, you guys can be loose with the dynamics and develop the shape that you want. I'm going to apply the dynamic pattern that I'm going to use right off the bat, but if you guys need a little bit more time to develop that, feel free. And remember, just pay attention to the note rate so that you know where you're starting and ending. Also, when you guys see me play this, there's no groove. It's all just the idea. So you're going to hear the 3 rests on beats numbers 1, 2, 3. Then you're going to hear the 8th note rest, and I'm going to start the idea on the upbeat, so the and of 4. Then I continue it over the bar line, and I end on beat number 2 of the following bar, and then I have those rests until I get back to the and of 4. So it's kind of like a 2-bar phrase that you'll hear me cycle. And then just keep cycling it until you get it clean and correct every time you loop it. All right, check it out. All right, great job, guys. So now that the sticking pattern is memorized, you've worked on the placement of the note rates against the metronome, so you're playing the color correctly. Now let's talk about practical application. So in step number 2, we're going to bump our metronome up to 75 BPM to challenge the speed and the placement of the color a little bit. But we're also working on practical application now. So we got to put a really simple groove into the exercise. So think like Back in Black, AC/DC, super easy groove. Don't make it complicated because then the placement of the color is going to be complicated also. So, focus on just the color and not the groove. So keep it simple. Also, as far as the dynamics for what you're playing in the idea, now you can really start to exaggerate it to, make the shape impactful, because that's what makes these ideas sound really cool when you pull them out of your toolbox. It's the shape of them. So make sure the loud and the soft notes have a lot of space between them. All right, so I'll play it for you. Remember, I'm going to add my groove in this time, keep it simple, and then I'll put the color in, and we're going to keep that 2-bar cycle. All right, check it out. All right, great job, guys. So there's a small idea that you guys can color your groove with. You can feel comfortable to put this idea in while you're grooving and know that it's not taking attention away from the song or breaking the pocket that's established in the rhythm section. It's just a small idea that creates tension and release within your groove. Guys, for more lessons like this, keep coming back to Vater.com to check them out. And also check out my online lesson site, peaceanddrums.com, for lessons in technique, grooves, and fills. Happy practicing, and until next time, peace and drums.